Today I'm going to do a little test to see if the ESEE blade is better than a cheap Morakniv. So this is like a $100 knife versus maybe a $15 knife or so. The ESEE blade's made out of 1095 stainless steel, or not stainless steel, 1095 steel, and then the Morakniv simply says carbon steel on it, so I'm not exactly sure what it is. But I want to find out which of these can hold an edge better. So to do that, I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'm going to see, make sure that they're both sharp before I start my test, and then put both of them through their paces and see which one is sharp at the end of the test. All right, so to see if they're both sharp prior to the test, I'm running out of hair on my arm, but let's just make sure they can both shave, which this one can all along the length of the blade. This one also can. And by the way, this is out of the box. All I've done was I did a unboxing with the ESEE knife. I haven't touched it up since. But I just realized it's maybe not as sharp. It's not quite as sharp as this Morakniv, so I'm gonna sharpen this back up. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm back. I've sharpened up the ESEE knife. It is now shaving sharp all along the tip. Did not take much to sharpen it up, actually. All I had to do is I just ran it on a strop, just a few strokes, and it's back up to its original sharp condition. Okay, so some things that we're gonna do. Let's just first cut through some wood with it and then see if it's still shaving sharp. Let's see here. This is cedar. All right, do the same thing with this knife. Okay, cut about the same for both. Let's see if I could shave. Okay, this one's still shaving sharp. Check this one out. This one is as well. Okay, the games continue. Let's do a few strokes. So this is triple ply cardboard. Let's just cut through this. Cardboard that's 1, 2. Make sure I have enough for the other knife too. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Not very straight anymore. Got a little wonky, but still. See if I can straighten that out without cutting myself. Well, I can already tell this is much harder to push through. That's interesting. Don't want to hurt myself. Whew! Well, I could already tell this one takes a lot more grunting. 3 grunts to get through versus 1. My goodness. That was 3. Let's see if I can do this without hurting myself. 4. 5. Okay. I'm sure one of these is not as sharp as the other at this point. Okay, so we got through cutting some cardboard. Let's check it out. And I'm gonna, arm's getting bare here. Oh, interesting. No, it's definitely duller. Okay, try this one. So is this one. They both are duller. Seems about the same. But I will say this, for whatever reason, this knife is not as much of a struggle to get through. And maybe it comes down to blade design. Let's see, let's look at these guys. There is something to it. This definitely, okay, that wasn't too bad. Try this again. Definitely easier, takes less force. With the ESEE, I'm definitely struggling more with the Morakniv, but I don't know why. I could do this all day. Interesting. Okay, so they both have gotten a little bit duller. Like it still shaves, but not as well. They both, I'm noticing they're both a little bit duller, and yet the ESEE is easier to cut through. I don't know why. If you have an answer why, put it in the comments. But in terms of holding an edge, let's see here. Yep, not amazing. Not amazing. See the tips, where I haven't messed with them, nice and sharp. These are great. But when I use the part where I cut through the cardboard, it's definitely not quite as sharp anymore. Yeah, see that? Trying to stick it right in here where I was using it. Tip's great, but right here, not awesome. Okay, so what are my conclusions? I'd say that they both held an edge equally well, which I'm going to say maybe wasn't that great. So I have cut, let's see, I did 5 triple ply pieces of cardboard, about, you know, a foot through for each, and they were like, they lost some of the edge, noticeably lost some edge. So conclusion 1 is, I think from an edge perspective, they seem to be about the same. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I also cut through this much wood with each. And so they both lost their edge about the same, but I'm going to say for whatever reason, this ESEE knife, it was easier to push through the cardboard than this Morakniv. And so it might be more about blade design and the edge. Again, if you know why one would be better than the other, this is the typical Morakniv edge. Now I did put a secondary bevel on it, and then this is just a flat ground with one secondary bevel. So it could have something to do with the edge, but for what it's worth, this one is noticeably easier to push through 3-ply cardboard. Okay, round 2 of this. So I just put both of these knives through their paces, and they both got noticeably less sharp after cutting through 3-ply cardboard. My next question is, so which one is easier to get a shaving sharp edge back on? Is it going to be the carbon steel from Morakniv? Is it going to be the ESEE 1095 steel? Let's find that out. So I've got just a regular strop, and I'm going to attempt to sharpen them back up live. Okay. Oh, nice. Double check the paper here, since that is where we were failing. What much better than it was. Try this one. See, that's not working. Okay. Just go back through here again. And this is just a piece of canvas with some Metal Glow, which is a brand of metal polish, put into the canvas, and the canvas is on just a piece of wood. So nothing fancy here at all, but I'll just run this through the strop a little bit. See if we get back up to a respectable, there we go. All right, so each one sharpened, well, I was going to say equally well. This one still has a few hang-ups. I could feel a few hang-ups in there versus the ESEE. And I think I put it through that strop a few more times, actually. That's interesting. Well, I was going to say they sharpen about the same, but this knife is definitely going to take a few more strokes to sharpen. Now, I know this isn't totally scientific, but just more like day to day, what's the difference between these two knives? Okay, let's see how that worked. There's still a little hang up right here. That's interesting. I could feel a little burr right there. But the other parts are nice. So there's a little burr. Oh, and I could see it right here. I could see light shining off the edge. So that tells me there's a burr right there. So that's interesting. I'd say then my conclusion is I think the cardboard test must have rolled the edge of the Mora knife right around here. And I could see it. Whereas this knife appears not to have any rolled edge. So I'm going to draw a quick and dirty conclusion there. I think this blade might be a little bit, what's the word, less tough? No, wait, what's the word? Anyway, not as hard of an edge in that it was able to get rolled right here by that cardboard. And so part of it sharpened quite nicely, and then part of it didn't, whereas the ESEE knife, the whole edge was able to sharpen right up with just a little bit of work with that strop. So conclusion I'll draw, again, not scientific, feel free to give a rebuttal to this, but conclusion I'll draw is it feels like this edge could get some more major damage from everyday use quicker than the ESEE knife. I definitely have to do more tests to confirm that, but that's my hypothesis just based on that fast little test. Hope that was useful for you.